Catback exhaust is one of, if not the most important parts when it comes to building your car. It's that piece that gives it that personalized characteristic that you're looking for. It tells everybody else that sees your car that it's me. And it's got to embody everything about you that you want to see in a car. And so if you're watching today's video, odds are you either just recently bought a VB WRX or you're considering buying one and would like to know which exhaust you would pick to personalize your VB the way you want it to sound. So today we've gone ahead and we've put together our top 5 catbacks out there on the market currently for the VB WRX. We're giving you these in no particular order, but let's get right into it. Breakdown. All right, you guys, so the first exhaust on our list is from our friends over at AWE, and we're gonna include both the track and the touring version of the AWE catback in this list. To start it off, these are coming in at $1195 up to $1495, depending on which options you decide to go with. Now, again, there is a track version, which is gonna be a little bit more louder, and then there's gonna be the touring version, which is a little bit more of a gentleman's exhaust in that sense, if you will. Now, with that, you also get a couple different options for the exhaust tips. Currently, they're only available for the VB WRX in chrome, so the diamond black tips will be available very soon, if they're not already by the time you're watching this. Now, when it comes to the touring exhaust, it's still gonna give you some of that slightly lower tone. It's gonna give you that bangs and pops whenever you're switching through the gears. It's very manageable from inside the car. It's definitely an exhaust you could live with as a daily driver. However, the track version is where this thing really opens it up. That deep tone really comes to life, and obviously it's a little bit more chaotic or loud. You get a little bit more of that volume in the car than you would with the touring version. Now, of course, these exhausts also come with AWE's patented 180-degree technology, which is some of that drone canceling stuff that you hear us talk about. If you want to check out a video on that, go ahead and check that out. Otherwise, this is manufactured by AWE in-house, and if you buy the wrong exhaust and decide you'd like it to be a little bit louder, or you went for the loud one and you'd like it to be a little bit quieter, they do sell conversion kits, so you're not necessarily stuck with one option. But enough of me talking about the exhaust. Let's jump in and hear how this thing sounds. Up next on the list is our very own MAPerformance Catback Exhaust for the VB WRX. Now, our Catback is coming in at a price of $1169 up to $1349, so just slightly cheaper than some of the options from AWE, but we do also have a street version and a race version. Now, similar to AWE, we also have 2 exhaust tip options. However, ours are a little bit different. Now, we do have that polished look. It's very classic, timeless. However, we do also have the blue burnt tips on our exhaust. So again, a little bit more of that classic Subaru styling you'd probably see on some of the older Subarus that I think we've all come to love. Our exhaust is made of 304 stainless steel and made in-house right here in Minnesota. So again, you know that you're getting a really high quality built exhaust, not gonna be something that's necessarily gonna fall apart on you. in a couple of months. Now, when it comes to the sound for the MAPerformance Catback, again, we do have the two different options. The street version is going to be a little bit more mild. It's not going to be quite as loud, but again, a great exhaust for daily driving. With the mufflers, it's not going to be overbearingly loud. And if you plan on ever adding a downpipe in the future, this is going to also keep that volume relatively manageable. However, if you're not looking to add a downpipe and you do like loud noises, or you just want your car to be super loud with a downpipe, that's totally up to you. You can go ahead and get the race version and add a downpipe if you'd like, and the car will be super loud. Again, that's not for everybody, so we have a few different customizable options. Now, one of the very unique things about the MAPerformance Catback is, from a design standpoint, one of the things we wanted to focus in on is making sure that that exhaust hugs the body of the car really tight so that it's not hanging down very low. Now, that's going to be super beneficial for anybody who's obviously lowering the car. The exhaust doesn't become the lowest point. And it also is beneficial for anybody who's lifting the car and doing some of the off-road overland stuff you've seen us do. They're obviously going to be wanting to make sure that that exhaust isn't hanging super low and hitting on any big bumps or obstacles they're necessarily going over. Now, I've obviously also gotten to spend quite a bit of time with our Catback on our car. I'll tell you guys, my favorite setup is the one where we have a prototype downpipe of our own on the car, and the street exhaust version is my personal favorite mix of exhaust components. You guys will have to let us know which one you would run with in the comments down below. Next up on the list, number 3 is the Remark R1-Spec Catback Exhaust. Now, this one is much cheaper than the other options we've covered so far. It's coming in at $622 or $850, depending on whether or not you go with the stainless steel exhaust version or the one where the muffler is actually the titanium muffler that goes on there. That one will run you the $850. However, there is one glaringly obvious difference about this Catback in comparison to some of the other ones that may be factoring into this lower price point. Obviously, this one only comes out of one side of the car. So with this one being a single exit, not a dual exit, there's obviously less material, and therefore they're able to come in at a lower price point. Now, if you are selecting this Catback, the one thing that you'll want to know is that the titanium version of it doesn't really lower the overall weight by a ton. It does lower it by about 5 pounds, just not necessarily this crazy weight savings. However, if you are at that point in your build where you're really just trying to shave any amount of weight that you possibly can. Now, when it does come to the volume measurements that you would necessarily take into consideration, and by volume, I mean the loudness of the Catback exhaust, so far, this is and might be the loudest Catback on our list altogether. If you're looking for something that's going to be an extremely loud Catback, this is the one for you. This would be something similar to what a lot of us are familiar with expecting from a brand like Tomei. It's a really, really, really loud single exit Catback. But again, enough of me talking about it. Let's jump in and check it out. You might want to turn your speakers down just a little bit or you'll blow them out probably. So let's jump in. Next up on the list, number 4 is one of the most classic Subaru catback brands that have ever existed. This one here is the Invidia Gemini R400 catback for the VB WRX. Now, from our friends over at Invidia, this one is coming in at $1,240, starting all the way up to $1,337 on the high end, again, depending on how it is that you option the catback. Now it does come with the full catback being made out of 304 stainless steel. However, you do get an option of the stainless steel tips or actual titanium tips on the back end. With this one, I actually would go ahead and say that the tip options that you would get on an Invidia with the titanium look might be my favorite look for tips on this car. Now, when it comes to the sound out of the Invidia Gemini catback, this one is gonna be a little bit more middle of the pack. It's not gonna be too extreme, but it's definitely not a very quiet exhaust. It's something that's gonna sit you kind of smack dab in the middle. So if you're kind of undecided on whether or not you'd really want something loud or whether you'd prefer something a little bit more manageable, this one's kind of gonna give you the middle ground and in theory be able to support you in the best of both worlds. But I'll let you decide for that here. Let's jump in and check out how this thing sounds. Now up for the 5th catback on our list, the 5th and final option is going to be the one that is coming in at the lowest price point so far. So if you're really on a budget, this may be perfect for you. Thanks for sticking around. And this one would be the MBRP single exit catback exhaust. This one is made out of 304 stainless steel as well. However, again, it's coming in at a low price of $429 all the way up to $629. So very budget oriented when it comes to this one. Again, depending on really just the tip options that you end up going with, will affect the price. The 3 options you really get are carbon fiber. That's a new option that we haven't seen on this list so far. And you also get the blue burnt tips and the polished tip options. So those are the 3 that you're gonna get to choose from if you're going with an MBRP single exit catback exhaust. Now, when it comes to volume, this one is gonna be another medium sound middle of the pack. So even though it's a single exit, like the Remark exhaust we talked about previously, this one is much quieter. So if you do like that single exit styling but don't want a super loud catback, this is probably gonna be a great choice for you. Anyways, let's just go ahead and check it out. Let's play the MBRP single exit catback exhaust. So like I said, single exit, middle of the pack when it comes to volume. Obviously that wraps up our 5 catback exhausts. If you stuck around to the end, thank you so much. I do want to honorably throw in a couple different choices if you're not quite ready to pick a full catback up for your car. There's a couple awesome axle back options out there on the market. We're not gonna go into too much detail, but to quickly give you a couple options. One is gonna be our, of course, MAPerformance axle back options. those do look and sound phenomenal. If you're looking for a really, really easy install and something that just raises the volume a little bit, that's gonna be a great choice for you. However, the other one that would have made it onto this list had it been out would be an HKS Catback. However, at this current time, the only thing really released that we know for sure is the Legamax Premium Axleback by HKS. Super great look, great sound, gonna be a little more mild. But if you're interested in something a little bit different, feel free to check these out. Great options. Anyways, guys, that's gonna end our video for today. If you guys found the Catback for your VB that really captures your personality, I want you to go ahead and let us know which one that is down in the comments below. Hopefully we've helped you guys make a selection for your own car or decide if this is even a platform you want to venture down. Otherwise, go ahead and check out some of our build videos on our VB WRX if you haven't already. We've got this thing in a pretty sweet overland setup, but don't get me wrong, we're going to be doing some street track driving over the spring, summer, and fall months as they encroach on us here. It's currently just the back end of winter, beginning of spring, so hopefully we get to do that really shortly here. Otherwise, thanks again. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.